About 4,500 years ago, engineers in Egypt constructed a monument of towering scale. At 147 meters tall, the Great Pyramid of Giza held the record as the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4 millennia. This chart scales the weight of the Great Pyramid against our modern equivalents. The Burj Khalifa is the tallest building we have today, and it weighs 500,000 tons. The Great Pyramid weighs an estimated 6 million tons. The people who quarried and stacked all that stone had no bulldozers, no cranes, and no modern steel. They didn't even have basic wheels for transportation. The structure has survived storms, extreme desert weathering, and torrential rains. Yet, despite thousands of years of human civilization living right next door, we have never found a single architectural blueprint explaining how it was built. Human nature hates a vacuum. When people lack a definitive answer, they tend to invent one. This lack of evidence leads to theories claiming the pyramid was a giant electrical power plant, a biblical granary to store wheat, or a project guided by extraterrestrials. Science fiction is tempting, but the actual physical evidence left behind by the builders reveals a story of human engineering that is far more impressive. The persistent myth that the pyramids were built by a tortured slave workforce can be traced back to a Greek historian named Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BC. Hollywood ran with it. Modern archaeology contradicts that. Excavations near the site uncovered entire purpose-built cities designed specifically to house an estimated 20,000 to 30,000 laborers. These workers were highly skilled, and the animal bones and remains left behind indicate they were given abundant food. They ate large rations of meat, leaving them stronger and better nourished than the average Egyptian citizen of that era. The workforce was highly seasonal. During agricultural downtimes, when fields were flooded or inactive, local farmers would travel to Giza to supplement the main construction crews. Building the Great Pyramid was a highly organized national project. The citizens of the kingdom mobilized across the seasons to lend their skills in service of their pharaoh. Moving the individual blocks, which weigh between 2.5 and 80 tons, required overcoming massive friction. To extract these massive stones using only copper tools, the workers used fluid physics. They found natural cracks in the granite, pounded dry wooden wedges into the holes, and soaked them with water. The wood expanded, forcing the solid rock to splinter and break apart. Getting the stones to the desert was an exercise in river navigation. Builders loaded the heaviest granite materials onto large rafts and floated them down the Nile from southern quarries located up to 800 kilometers away. In 2014, physicists identified that pouring liquid in front of a heavy sledge was a friction reduction technique. Adding a specific amount of water, between 2 and 5%, cuts ground friction in half, allowing men to pull sledges with significantly less effort. This understanding of fluid dynamics replaces the need to invent theories about magical levitation to explain how the stones moved. Moving the stones across the ground is one thing. Lifting millions of tons of rock to a peak of 147 meters requires serious vertical engineering. In 2015, a joint team of English and French archaeologists uncovered a 4,500-year-old wooden ramp system preserved inside an ancient quarry. This structural diagram shows how they manipulated gravity. They embedded heavy wooden pillars along the sides of an inclined slope. Teams of workers looped long ropes around these stationary anchor points, pulling the heavy stones up the slope layer by layer. For precise placement at the top of the ramp, scholars suggest they adapted a mechanism already used in Egyptian agriculture, the shadoof. This is a long wooden pole balanced on a pivot point, with a counterweight on one end, allowing workers to lift and turn massive loads into position. Ramps, levers, and ropes used over a 20-year construction period provided the grounded reality behind this massive vertical build. The physical lift is impressive, but the geographical layout is highly precise. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north, south, east, and west, with an error of just 1/15 of a degree. Because they didn't have compasses, the Orion correlation theory suggests the builders aligned the layout with the 3 main stars in Orion's belt, claiming they possessed highly advanced astronomical navigation techniques. But constellations drift. When astronomers rewound the position of the stars 4,500 years back to the actual construction period, the pyramids no longer aligned with Orion's belt. The scientific explanation relies on the sun. This top-down diagram illustrates the autumn equinox method. On the specific day of the year when day and night are equal, a vertical pole casts a shadow that tracks in a straight line from east to west. Patient observation of the solar cycle gave the ancient architects the exact grid they needed. The Great Pyramid survives as the physical expression of a society's agricultural wealth, organization, and devotion to the pharaoh's immortality. Some aspects remain unexplained. We still do not know exactly how they managed to place a stone every 3 minutes to meet their 20-year deadline, or the exact chemical recipe of the mortar that keeps the structure stable through earthquakes. Acknowledging what we do not know is how the scientific method works. It gives the next generation of archaeologists a target to investigate. The Great Pyramid stands today as a 4,500-year-old record of what human cooperation and engineering achieved when pushed to their absolute capacity.